Stop. These coins could be hidden treasure. Do not spend them. Check your pocket now, because what looks like a normal Jefferson nickel might actually be a silent fortune sitting in your change. Nobody talks about this, but collectors are quietly fighting over these coins, paying shocking prices at auction. This is real hidden wealth people lose every single day. And here's the scary part. Each coin we reveal gets rarer, more valuable, and harder to find. Miss one, and you could be throwing away life-changing money. Stay with me. This will change how you see every nickel forever. First up, you've probably held this coin, maybe even spent it without thinking twice. And that's exactly what makes this so dangerous. The 1989p Jefferson nickel doesn't scream value, it hides it. Quietly, patiently, waiting for someone to notice before it disappears again into circulation forever. This is not fiction. This is one of those moments where a simple 5-cent coin becomes a silent fortune, and most people miss it completely. There's something unsettling about the year 1989. America was shifting, economically, politically, globally. The Cold War was ending, markets were adjusting, and the US Mint was under pressure to keep up with demand. That pressure created coins that weren't supposed to stand out, but some did. And when you understand what was happening behind the scenes, you realize why certain 1989 nickels are now being hunted like buried treasure. At first glance, it looks ordinary. On the front, you see Thomas Jefferson's familiar profile, calm, composed, almost too normal. The word liberty sits beside him, along with the date 1989. But here's where collectors start to lean in. The small P mint mark. That tiny letter, barely noticeable, changes everything. Most people ignore it. Serious collectors, they obsess over it. Flip the coin over, and you're staring at Monticello, Jefferson's iconic home. The design feels rigid, almost mechanical, but look closer. The spacing of the letters, the sharpness of 5 cents, the alignment of United States of America, these tiny details tell a story of minting stress, of dies being pushed to their limits. This is where rarity begins to reveal itself. Now hold it in your hand. Feel the weight, exactly 5.0 grams. The thickness, about 1.95 millimeters. The diameter, 21.21 millimeters. It feels solid, balanced, almost too perfect. But that's the trap. Because inside that copper-nickel blend, 75% copper, 25% nickel, there are subtle variations, microscopic differences that collectors spend years studying. And when they find the right one, they don't let go. Here's what most people don't understand. Coins from 1989 were mass-produced, yes. But not all survived the same way. Circulation destroyed many. Scratches, wear, environmental damage, they erased value. So when a 1989p nickel survives in fine condition, with original surfaces intact, it becomes something else entirely. Something rare, something collectors quietly compete for. And let me warn you right now, do not clean this coin. Not under any circumstances. That dark toning, that slightly dull finish, that dirty look, that's history. That's authenticity. The moment you try to shine it, you destroy its story and its value forever. Collectors don't want shiny. They want real. This is where things start getting intense. Because in the auction world, coins like this don't always explode in public. Sometimes it's quiet. 2 collectors, maybe 3, bidding slowly, carefully, almost emotionally. They're not just buying a coin, they're securing a piece of something disappearing. And when the hammer drops, $50,000 for a nickel. Let that sink in. Why? Why would anyone pay that much for 5 cents? Because this isn't 5 cents anymore. It's hidden wealth. It's a silent fortune sitting in plain sight. It's the kind of coin people accidentally spend at gas stations, grocery stores, vending machines, never realizing what they just lost. That's what makes it so powerful and so terrifying. Collectors are holding these. They're not selling. Supply is shrinking every year. Demand, it's rising fast. And the more people learn about coins like this, the harder they become to find. That's how markets shift. That's how small discoveries turn into serious money. So what should you check first? Start with the mint mark. Look for that P. Then examine the surface. Is it original? Untouched? Look at the edges, the lettering, the sharpness of Monticello. These small details, they change everything. And if you think you've found something special, don't guess. Get it professionally graded. That step alone can multiply value dramatically. But here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Patience is where the real money is. The collectors who win, they wait. They study. They don't rush. Because they know coins like this don't just hold value, they grow. Quietly. Consistently. Like a hidden bank account you didn't even know you had. And I need to say this clearly. Do not spend this coin. Not until you know exactly what you're holding. Because once it's gone, it's gone. Back into circulation. Back into someone else's pocket. Maybe someone who knows exactly what it is. This coin alone is shocking. But what comes next? It's even more dangerous to ignore. There's another Jefferson Nickel out there. Rarer, more mysterious, and worth even more. And almost nobody is talking about it. You're about to hear something that might make you go back and check every nickel you've ever touched. Because the 1970D Jefferson Nickel is one of those coins people ignore until it's too late. This coin doesn't look rare. It doesn't feel rare. But that's exactly how hidden wealth survives. Right under your nose. Quietly slipping through hands that have no idea what they're losing. 1970 was not just another year. America was under serious economic pressure, rising inflation, post-Vietnam War strain, and a shifting financial system that was starting to crack. The U.S. Mint was pushing production hard to keep coins flowing through the economy. That kind of pressure creates mistakes, not always visible errors, but subtle variations, stress marks, and quality inconsistencies that only sharp-eyed collectors notice today. And those small details, they're worth serious money now. Look at the front of this coin. Thomas Jefferson's profile is still there, but on a 1970D in fine condition, there's something different in the texture. The word liberty may not be razor-sharp, but it carries a softness that tells a story of circulation and survival. The date, 1970, sits quietly beside it, but that tiny D mint mark below, that's where things start getting intense. That small letter ties this coin to the Denver Mint, where production stress left behind characteristics collectors are obsessed with today. Flip it over, and Monticello greets you again, but not like you've seen on modern coins. On a genuine 1970D in fine condition, the steps of Monticello may be worn, the lines slightly faded, but the structure still holds its identity. The inscriptions E pluribus unum, United States of America, and 5 cents wrap around the design like a quiet declaration of value. And yet, most people don't even glance at it before spending it. Now hold it. Feel that familiar 5.0 gram weight. The 21.21 millimeters diameter. The thickness just under 2 millimeters. It feels like every other nickel, but it's not. The composition, 75% copper and 25% nickel, has aged differently over time. Some develop darker toning, others a soft gray sheen. That natural aging, that's what collectors crave. That untouched surface is proof the coin hasn't been tampered with. And listen carefully, never clean this coin. That is the fastest way to erase tens of thousands of dollars. That dull finish, those tiny scratches, that natural wear, that's exactly what gives it character. That's what tells collectors this coin is real, untouched, and part of history. Clean it, and you destroy that trust instantly. So why is this coin worth up to $90,000 today, even without errors? That's the part most people can't wrap their heads around. It's not just rarity, it's survival. Millions were minted, yes. But how many survived decades of circulation without being destroyed, lost, or damaged beyond recognition? Very few. And among those few, even fewer meet the standards collectors demand. This is where the obsession kicks in. Collectors don't just want a 1970D nickel, they want the right one. The right toning, the right wear pattern, the right balance between age and preservation. They examine the smallest details, the curve of Jefferson's cheek, the alignment of the lettering, the faint outlines of Monticello's steps. These aren't casual buyers. These are people chasing perfection in imperfection. Auction rooms don't always explode with noise for coins like this. Sometimes it's quiet, intense, calculated. Two collectors locked in, each knowing exactly what's at stake. The bids climb slowly, then suddenly jump. Because both understand they may not see another one like this again for years. And when the final bid hits $90,000, it's not shocking to them. It's expected. And here's the scary part. You could have one. Right now, sitting in a jar, a drawer, a forgotten coin roll. This is why I keep saying it. Do not spend this coin. Not until you've checked it properly. Because once it leaves your hand, you may never see it again. And someone else might recognize exactly what you just gave away. If you're serious about finding one, start simple. Check the date, 1970th. Look for the D mint mark. Then examine the surface closely. Is it original? Does it have natural toning? Are the details still visible despite wear? These small checks can mean the difference between 5 cents and a life-changing opportunity. And don't guess when it comes to value. Professional grading is critical. A certified coin carries trust, and trust brings serious buyers. Without that, you're just hoping. With it, you're holding something the market recognizes and pays for. The truth is, coins like this don't just represent money. They represent patience, awareness, the ability to see what others overlook. And right now, most people are still overlooking this coin every single day. But what comes next makes this one look almost ordinary. There's another Jefferson nickel out there, older, harder to find, and carrying a level of demand that's borderline insane. And when you see why, you'll understand why collectors are willing to go even higher. There's a coin sitting out there right now, dirty, ignored, maybe even rejected by someone because it looked too worn. And that's exactly the mistake that's costing people thousands. The 1980 Jefferson Nickel, with no mint mark, is one of the most dangerously overlooked coins in circulation. And if you don't pay attention, you could pass it along without ever realizing you just gave away a silent fortune. Let that sink in for a second. No mint mark, nothing under the date. Just 1980 staring back at you like any other nickel. But that missing detail, that's where the story begins. Because in 1980, the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia was producing coins without mint marks as standard. But under heavy production pressure, subtle differences began to appear. And today, those differences are exactly what collectors are chasing. The year 1980 wasn't calm. Inflation was climbing. Interest rates were rising fast. The U.S. economy was under serious stress, and everyday transactions depended heavily on coin circulation. The mint had to keep up, pushing machines harder, running dies longer, and producing millions of nickels quickly. That kind of environment doesn't create perfection, it creates variation. And variation over time becomes rarity. Now look at the coin itself. The front shows Thomas Jefferson, but on a dirt-circulated example, his face carries a different kind of character. The surface might look dark, uneven, even unattractive to an untrained eye. But to a collector, that's untouched history. The word liberty might blend into the surface slightly, the date 1980 still visible, but softened by time. And right there, no mint mark. That absence becomes the loudest detail on the entire coin. Flip it over, and Monticello appears again, but not in pristine condition. The steps may be worn, the lines softened, and the entire surface may carry a layer of natural dirt and toning. But here's the twist. That dirty look is exactly what serious collectors want to see. It proves the coin hasn't been cleaned, altered, or tampered with. It's raw. It's real. It's survived decades exactly as it should. Pick it up, and it feels like any other nickel. Around 5.0 grams. Roughly 21.21 millimeters in diameter. Thickness just under 2 millimeters. Same copper-nickel composition, 75% copper, 25% nickel. Nothing about the physical specs screams value. And that's what makes this so powerful. Because the value isn't in what you feel, it's in what you notice. Here's where people make the biggest mistake. They try to clean it. They see the dirt and think they're improving the coin. But the second you wipe it, scrub it, or polish it, you destroy everything. That natural toning, that darkened surface, that uneven color, that's the proof of authenticity. That's what collectors trust. Remove it, and you've erased tens of thousands of dollars instantly. So how does a dirty 1980 nickel reach $70,000 at auction? It comes down to survival and demand. Most of these coins were heavily circulated, damaged, or cleaned over the years. Finding one that still holds its original surface, even in rough condition, is far rarer than people think. And collectors know this. They're not looking for perfection, they're looking for originality. And this is where the psychology shifts. Because collectors don't just buy coins, they compete for them. Quietly, aggressively. When a genuine dirt-circulated 1980 no-mint mark nickel shows up with the right characteristics, the room changes. Bidders lean in. The energy tightens. And suddenly, what looks like a 5-cent coin becomes a battleground for serious money. Some collectors hold on to these coins for years, even decades. They understand something most people don't. Supply is shrinking. Every year more coins are lost, damaged, or altered. And every year more collectors enter the market looking for the same hidden pieces. That imbalance drives value higher and higher and higher. So what should you be looking for? Start with the date, 1980th, then immediately check for the absence of a mint mark. That's critical. After that, study the surface. Is it naturally worn? Does it have original dirt and toning? Are the details still visible beneath the wear? These are the signs that separate a common coin from a life-changing opportunity. And don't skip the most important step, professional grading. This is not optional if you think you found something special. A graded coin carries authority. It tells buyers your coin is real, untouched, and worthy of serious attention. Without that, you're leaving money on the table. But here's the truth most people aren't ready for. This coin might already be in your possession, sitting in a jar, mixed with other coins, maybe even in your pocket right now. That's how close this hidden wealth really is. And that's why I keep saying it. Do not spend this coin until you've checked it properly. Because once it's gone, it's gone. And someone else, someone paying attention, might be the one who turns it into $70,000. This is not luck. This is awareness. This is knowing what to look for when everyone else is ignoring it. And the people who understand this, they're building quiet wealth, one coin at a time. Now think about this. 3 coins, all hiding in plain sight, all being spent every single day like they're worthless. But they're not. They're silent fortunes, slipping through fingers that never stop to look. So before you spend another nickel, check again. Because the next one you find might be worth even more than everything we just talked about. And trust me, you haven't seen the rarest ones yet.